What's up, everybody, and welcome into another edition of Big Man on Betting. Today is Sunday, January 23rd, 2022. Hope you're all having a great day wherever you are. Another winter Sunday. We've got the NFL playoffs continuing today. I'll talk a little bit about that towards the end, but I'm going to go over the basketball card as I did yesterday. Went through every single game. And I want to turn the page back to yesterday. Just a couple of thoughts on some of the things that we saw last night. Couple of wild games, couple of ugly games too. I mean, Boise State, San Diego State, 42-37. Look, I thought that game would be low scoring, but I didn't know I didn't think it'd be first of 40 wins. Yikes. What an ugly game that was if you were there in Viejas Arena. Yikes. Couple of things I gave out that one, couple of things I gave out that loss, but we are back here and here to take any of your questions. I have it open to the public today. Back tomorrow on Monday, we'll go over the entire card on Patreon. But here, let's get into it. Let's chat a little bit about what we have today on this card. We will start up at the top, and we will talk about Butler and Providence getting going at the top of the hour. Now, AJ Reeves didn't play the other night, and as far as I know, he's not playing today. I guess we'll have to figure that out when the lineups come out. But, at the end of the day, when you're a team like Providence, you want to have every guy, but you're at home here. You're facing a team in Butler who, look, I've talked about, they're not a good basketball team. It's just that simple. You're able to rally. You were able to win the other night, win by 8 without Reeves. You're playing Georgetown. This is a little respite in the schedule for Providence. You've got 2 home games against bad basketball teams. Look, Providence is really good. Providence defensively is really good. We need to start talking about Providence and Ed Cooley as maybe a team that, can win this conference. They're really good. We look at how they score. They're not great offensively, but they're very adept at getting to the foul line. This is one of the best teams in the country at getting to the charity stripe, getting there, making their foul shots, and doing what they have to do from the line. Look, when you have a team that gets to the foul line, what does that tell you? Obviously, it means that they're trying to get high percentage shots. They're getting into the teeth of the defense and doing what they have to do. So I like that highly efficient offense. I like that kind of thing when I back a team. You look at Durham, you look at Nate Watson, you look at all these guys, very high free throw rates. They're getting to the line and they're making their free throws. Butler, not good on really either side of the ball. They can't defend. They can't score. If this is under 10, I would lean on Providence here. I don't think Butler's good whatsoever. Like, I have no interest in ever backing them. You look at their losses. I mean, lost to Purdue by 29, lost to Seton Hall by 15, lost to Xavier by 15, lost to Villanova by 40, lost to Connecticut by 17, lost to Connecticut by 19. When they lose, they get blown out, okay? When we look at Reeves, if he plays, it's a bonus. Butler has given me no reason to believe they can hang in this game. You look at outside of one game against Texas A&M, every other game they've lost has come by double digits. Their only wins in conference have come against DePaul and Georgetown. Throw in the fact that it's a road game. If this is under 10, I would bet Providence. In fact, I'll probably be on Providence here. Rider Niagara. I don't have much here. Niagara the other night, was that Friday night, had St. Peter's, and obviously St. Peter's just coming in, had some issues traveling, but we're still able to get the win. When I look at Niagara, I mean, what do they do well? Neither of these teams can score. I mean, Rider has been atrocious offensively. I don't have much on this game. Wouldn't play it. Wouldn't have any interest. You have kind of clashing styles here. Niagara's playing really slow under Greg Paulus. Under Kevin Baggett, Rider always kind of quick and fast. Both these teams kind of middle of the road defensively. I think it's an ugly game. I have no interest in it. St. Francis of Brooklyn and Bryant. I mentioned on Friday, I thought Bryant was in a good spot against Merrimack. They were able to get an easy 16-point win. And I'll tell you right now, it seems like Bryant's starting to get going. And that's bad news for this conference. You still look, though. Bryant still is not making threes. Okay, this team still, is only shooting 29.6% from three, 32% in conference. They haven't shot the ball well, which – you look at one of the reasons they've struggled, a lot of it's had to do with the three-point shot. They haven't made them, and they're still rolling in games. It's concerning for the rest of this conference if they start making shots. It just is. This team's really good. They're really talented. Do I think they're the best team in this conference? No, I still think Wagner is, but they still have another game against Wagner, and they still have the ability to very much win this conference. I wouldn't want to go against Bryant right now, to be real. And when we look at St. Francis of Brooklyn, I mean, they can't shoot. Your Bryant's going to zone them, and that's what I would do here. I wouldn't have any interest in St. Francis. It'd be Bryant or pass here. Keep in mind, last season, both games were very high scoring, 101-82, 93-91. Bryant plays really fast, not a great defensive team. But I don't know if St. Francis New York can give you what you want offensively. They're not real talented. The only player I like with them is Rob Higgins. But this team's found a way to score recently. But this is a bit bigger of a game. Keep in mind, against Wagner, 81-76, they were able to hang in the game. It really is all going to come down to whether they can hit some shots from the outside and what their zone offense looks like. Doesn't bode well for me here. I'll be honest. I would probably lean on, if I had to play this game, I would probably lean on a Bryant team total, 79.5. I feel like they can get to 80 in this game. The knock on St. Francis is they're going to let you play and do what you want to do defensively. They've given up 78 or more in 3 straight games. This is a bad offense and a bad defense for that matter. But Bryant's rolling. Shout out to that team with Jared Grasso. St. Peter's and Canisius. Over the years, I've talked about St. Peter's. I mean, they are an elite defensive team. They're very adept at just they're lengthy and long. They get a ton of stops. You look at on the perimeter, one of the better three-point defenses in the country. If you're all about the three-point shot, you're not going to score a ton against them. I worry, though, because when you look at their defense, they're very handsy. They put you on the line, and that's something Canisius is very good at. Also with St. Peter's, coming off of a tough game in Niagara, OT game where they struggled to travel and had to go to OT. Now, a day and a half later, they go to Canisius and play. Might not have Casey and Defoe. This is a tough spot for St. Peter's, I believe. I mean, you're laying 3.5 here. I don't think Canisius is a very good team, but there's a lot of issues here. I mean, travel, coming off an OT game, back-to-back, a day and a half later, you might not have in Defoe. So, I think if is this a spot I'm running to lay points with? No, not particularly. Not particularly. Especially when you look at Canisius, their path to offense is hanging around from the free throw line. I need to know what Defoe's status is. It's that simple. He got hurt in the last game. So, if he plays, well, then I have a little bit more interest. Northwestern and Purdue. This game goes at 1:00 Eastern. Listen, the truth is Northwestern won't stop Purdue. Okay, they just won't. All right. I mean, if Purdue, just shows up to this game, they'll score. Northwestern can't stop Williams and Edey and some of the bigs that Purdue have. And then look, Purdue's going to score. I mean, they're one of the best offenses in the country. You don't have some of the help defensively that Indiana had. This is not a great defensive team. Okay, it's that simple. Gave up 82 the other night to Wisconsin. But again, I talked about this on Twitter the other night. Purdue's ball screen defense was awful. They can't defend. Those Finney and Xavier Johnson were doing whatever the fuck they wanted. I hate to tell you, but Bowie and the guards there, Berry and Greer and Aldige, I mean, they're going to score in this game. Okay, they're not going to just shut themselves down. This team can't defend Purdue. It's not going to get fixed quickly. This is going to take long-term, and this is a long-term problem for Purdue. You also look at the fact that, for what it's worth, whether you say it was good defense or not, I mean, Trevion Williams continues to make everything difficult around the rim. He just couldn't finish the other night. And you look at the point totals for Purdue. I mean, Stefanovic was 1 for 7 from 3. Jaden Ivey 2 for 6 from 3. They were 8 for 23. That's not good enough. They'll be better. They also were 7 for 17 from the line. They shoot 72%. They shouldn't be 7 for 17. I would lean over in this game, 148. I think Purdue's defensive problems continue. It's a lot of points to lay as well. Now, obviously, Purdue should come out pissed off here. But yeah, I would lean over. Until they fix some of their defensive issues, I have some concerns. Lean over. Xavier and Marquette. How about Marquette? And look, I'll say it now. Good for Shaka Smart. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of his, but they're putting themselves into the tournament picture. They've won 5 in a row. Now they get mighty Xavier coming in. Look, I've talked about it. I just don't have a lot of luck with Xavier over the years. It seems like whenever I back them, they can't do anything right. When I fade them, they'll go on the road and beat anyone in the country. I just don't have a good feel on them. What do I feel about this game? Well, what do I know about Marquette? They're going to press. I don't know if Xavier can handle that. They're not a real great team when it comes to turnovers. Though I will say in conference, they figured it out. Their turnover rate's a lot lower, which helps in this game. Gun to my head, I lean Xavier. But, Fiserv Forum's a tough place to play. It's a tough place to win. I don't trust Xavier. Never have. What's up, Canes Nation? By the way, Canes Nation, I think you were in the chat the other day. That guy that was talking, he never contacted me. I don't know where that guy came from. Some of these people are just weird people. Paco, what's up? Thanks for watching. Kelly McInnes, thank you. What's up? Good morning. I appreciate the breakdowns. Thank you. Guys, if you want my breakdowns every single day, I go over the card. We had a good college football season. Haven't had the greatest start to conference play, but we'll continue to pound away. There's highs and lows in our business, and we just keep firing. Yeah, he's a troll. He's not a customer. He doesn't have my Patreon because if he did, he could have just contacted me. And that's what people do. I don't really have those types of people on my thing. Like all the people I've had, they've dealt with me forever. They know that I will break down every card. So it's like, I don't know where these people come from. I don't know what his goal was, but hopefully he finds some happiness. Illinois State and Evansville. Look, Evansville is a mess, a complete and utter mess. Listen, there are some real bad offenses in America. IUPUI, team total unders with them. Eastern Illinois is a bad offense. Evansville's pretty fucking bad as well. Pretty fucking bad. I think they could be in a territory where you kind of just say, whatever their team total is, you just play it under at this point. It's 63.5. Keep in mind, Evansville hasn't gotten to 63 or more since December 8th. They're pushing 6 weeks since they've scored over 63 points. Obviously they played a tough schedule, but they just faced Illinois State on Friday and only scored 56. Keep in mind, they lost by 38 in that game. I would hope this is a game where they figure it out, but this is a bad offense. Canes Nation, he said he emailed you. He never emailed. I would tell you if he did. He didn't. I'm very open with my content. Very. What's up, brother? I'm doing well. How you doing? Paco, he pissed off about 0-2. But I didn't go 0-2. He didn't mention that I had Arizona late that night. So it was, again, what these folks do is they push their agendas with stuff that they want to push. Big Man on campus did that. Well, yeah, but what did I do? That's what trolls do. They fit their narrative, even if it's not true. Like I might go, let's say 8-2, but the night I go into shitty night for the big man last night. Yeah, but it's a nightly thing, guys. Like what are we? It's gambling. Okay, you win and lose. But I was not 0-2 that night. I was 0-2, and then I hit Arizona late, laid the number. So he wasn't even truthful about his lies. But hey, it takes a many for the world to go around. Let's keep it going here. Iona and Quinnipiac. Iona, what do we know about them? Look, they're one of the best teams in this conference. Great defensively. Rick Pitino, big fan. But listen, whenever I think about Iona, I always go back to that game where I bet them against Fairfield. And it just pisses me off because they actually ended up winning that game. I think they won by 5, laying 6.5. So if they'd have just played a little bit better, and to see them rolling the way they have, I don't think anyone in this conference beats them. It's really a question of, do I want to lay a number with them on the road? Do I trust? I would lean that way. I think they win by double digits here. It's a Sunday road game off the Friday night game against a team that, quite honestly, does do some things well. I feel like I wish I was getting a few more points here with Quinnipiac. Let's say I may be getting 9 or 10. I'd have a little bit more interest in them because they actually are a pretty decent offensive team, and they're really good at getting to the line. In these conferences, guys, you're going to have refs that call everything. Okay, there's a lot of fouls, a lot of nonsense going on. When you have a team that can make 75, 76% of their free throws, you can hang in a game like that. You really can. I mean, it's hard to pull away. Is it easy to step in front of Niagara? Not really. I mean, or not Niagara, Iona. Iona's a good team. But they have some talent at Quinnipiac. I mean, Kevin Marfo was a high-profile guy. They've got some kids that can score and can shoot the basketball. Matt Belanc's a great shooter, 40%. So tough game. I think it's probably lined where it should be. Caden Rutherford, I cashed Arizona. Yes, you did. You sent me the ticket. So yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you're going to say how he went 0-3, you can say that, but make sure you include the winner as well. I also haven't had 82 plays. By the way, guys, here's what I did on Patreon this year, and I was very obvious about this. I made this point up until January 1st. Until January 1st, we had college football. We had all this stuff going on. I was playing college basketball for a half unit. I do that pretty much every year now over the last 2 years. Non-conference play is very difficult. You've got tournaments, you've got neutral games, you got holidays, you got all sorts of nonsense. I don't play college basketball crazy until January 1st. I play it, but I don't play it crazy. So on January 1st, I flipped everything over and started playing a unit. We're 23 days into the month. I don't have 82 plays. That's just hasn't happened. Yes, St. Thomas overs. That's something you need to play, folks. First half overs, full game overs, St. Thomas. They're one of the worst defensive teams in the country. They shoot threes. They are very good at making them. They're a great over team. And they're one of the best teams in the first half in America. There's a little piece of advice for you. Okay, let's continue the outline here. Youngstown State, Purdue, Fort Wayne. I don't have much on IPFW or Youngstown. I will say many years ago, this was a great ATS team, Purdue, Fort Wayne. But you look at what they do. Great offense, always good under John Kaufman. They have the ability to pull away because they make their free throws. They're a great offensive team. The problem that they have, they are not a good defensive team. Okay, that's simple. I got to be honest, I would kind of lean over in this game. Anytime Youngstown play, they're a team that are very good at the line as well. They're going to stay in the game because they're not a bad offense either. I think Fort Wayne really just is all about tempo. Youngstown's pretty fast. They're not really fast. They're pretty fast. I think both offenses can get to 70, 75 here. I think this may find its way over. Not a game I'm betting. Fairfield Marist, same thing here. This is a game I'm just going to kind of skip over. I don't have much on Marist. I will say, though, I think to keep an eye on with Marist. Well coached with John Dunna. They have some really good players, Marist. They have some kids that are really solid, Ricardo Wright's a real good player for Marist, but a game overall, I don't want to play. Fairfield, I never know what I'm going to get with them. Central Connecticut State, Mount St. Mary's. Central Connecticut State, one of the worst teams in the country. They were really bad under Danielle Marshall, and they're really bad under Patrick Sellers. One of the toughest jobs in the country, okay? You have a team that's 330s offensively. You have a team that's 320s defensively. You're not going to win a lot of games. Haven't scored more than 70 since December 29th, almost a complete month. They've gotten beaten up in this conference. And you look at even against the bad teams. I mean, they're losing by 8, 10 points. LAU Brooklyn beat them by 22. I mean, that's ugly. Against Mount St. Mary's, they're not going to give you anything defensively. You look at defensive numbers in conference. Mount St. Mary's is the best team in this conference defensively. They've been terrific from 3. This is a good team, Mount St. Mary's. Always good under Dan Engelstad. Again, one thing you have to understand in college basketball, when you get into conference play, you should not be looking at full records. Full records mean nothing. They mean ugats in the NEC. You should throw them the fuck out. You got to look at conference stats. That's what matters. Doesn't matter what Mount St. Mary's did against teams in Big Ten play or in the SEC. Doesn't matter. What are they doing against NEC opponents? And the truth is, effective field goal offense, effective field goal defense, Mount St. Mary's is number 1. That's why they're laying this number today. You're gonna have me. You have no problem with me if you want to play this game. Mount's a good team. Interesting thought though. Last year played Mount. These teams played in Central Connecticut both times. Mount St. Mary's won 67-57 and lost 65-64. So one game they won by double digits, the other they lost. Kind of weird. I don't think they lose today. I would lean on laying it if I had to. Manhattan and Monmouth. Look, Manhattan, same team every year. Good defensively, can't score. Monmouth have started to really struggle. They're still very good against the number, but I'm not running to lay double digits with them right now. I just don't think they're playing particularly well. I mean, they'll have random game. Like, they got blown out by Marist. Then they come back and beat Iona. They're just a volatile, weird team, Monmouth. But I think you just fall on their ATS records. Gun to my head, I think they're better than Manhattan, but I have nothing here. Tough game. Umass and St. Louis. Umass diced up St. Louis the first time these two teams played, if I remember. I could be wrong. Maybe that was last year. Oh, no, it was the other night. What am I saying? It was 3 nights ago. 91-85. Is that enough time to come back here and have a better defensive effort? I would hope. I mean, that was one of the worst defensive efforts of the year for St. Louis. This is not a vintage St. Louis team. Okay, they're without a lot of talent. Obviously, Javante Perkins and Goodwin. But again, still decently talented. But they're not what they were last year. They don't have as much talent. Do I expect them to bounce back here? I would think. I'd lean them here. I don't think they're going to get sliced and diced like they did the other night, but they may just have issues. They do. They're not a great team, St. Louis. Arizona and Cal. I'm going to just come out and say it. I talked about Arizona. I'm going to keep talking about Arizona, okay? Do you want to step in front of them? They win every game by 20. Every game's out of reach by the 5-minute mark of the game. I mean, is Cal really going to do anything here to bother them? Well, I'll just answer that question. No. They aren't. I don't know what else to say about Arizona. Their scoring margin, I think, is like 20s, which means they win every game by, 20 or more. They're elite defensively. They're gigantic. How's Cal going to score? We also look at what we talked about the other night when I recommended Arizona. The turnover stuff seems to be fixed. And it is fixed. They're not a bad team when it comes to turnovers. a couple of games, they struggled. But they were still winning by 20. That's the thing about Arizona. Like, what else do you like? They win every game by 20. You think Cal's going to come in and stop them? If Stanford couldn't do it, Cal ain't going to do it. I wouldn't have any interest in stepping in front of Arizona right now. Are you asking me if I would lay it? Yeah, I would. I think it's going to go up higher. Brian Doyle, how is Indiana only -4 today? Well, because I think they're going to struggle today. That's why. I mean, I'll get to that game in just a second. Stand by. Memphis and Tulsa. Okay, look, guys, it's pretty simple with Memphis. They're lost without a paddle right now. Penny Hardaway is always lost, but he's even more lost. He's becoming sensitive now, which, look, looking back, I mean, I think he brings a lot on himself. Is it completely all him? No. But, stop with the whole we don't have our player. I mean, injuries happen, bro. You had all your players against Georgia and lost. You had all your players against Murray State and lost. Let's cut it out with that. We can't have all of our guys nonsense. But I will say today, Tulsa, always tough, okay? Frank Haith, he's going to zone you. Gritty defensive team always. They do a lot of things to stay in games. They make threes. They make free throws. They got beat up the other night. This game's all going to come down to the injury report. If Memphis gets DeAndre Williams and Nolly back, well, then I would play them. If they don't have them, I wouldn't play them. I would play the other side. That's Memphis right now. And you look at the last couple of games, without these players, they've been bad. DeAndre Williams, their best player. Say what you want about Bates and Duran. Williams, their best player. And when they don't have him, look at what happened. They're losing outright. They're blowing leads with a minute and a half to go. Okay, they lost to East Carolina, who just lost yesterday by 40 to Houston and had mid-30s. This is not going to be fixed. However, Memphis with Williams can get by teams like Tulsa. They can. I lean Tulsa, though. They're off a bad game. We just talked about Arizona. Rewind it just a bit. We just talked about it. Robert Morris and Cleveland State. If we remember a couple of weeks ago, I had Cleveland State on a Friday night against Robert Morris, and they blew it. Now we come back to this game. Look, I will go back to the well with Cleveland State. This seems like a circle the wagons type of game for the Vikings. They're at home here. It's not like Robert Morris, a good basketball team. Robert Morris is kind of coming back to earth. Lost the other night big to Fort Wayne. Lost to Wright State recently. They got beat up by Fort Wayne a couple of games here. But, yeah, I mean, they're without Rasheem Dunn. I mean, that's a big loss. Can Spear keep him in the game? I don't know. Lean Cleveland State, but I'm not running to bet it. I'm not a big Horizon League guy. Wagner and Merrimack. I thought Friday night, Wagner was in a good spot. I didn't quite understand why they were such a small favorite to LAU Brooklyn. That wasn't easy, but they were able to get the job done. Now you got to come back here off that LIU game in Brooklyn. You go up to Andover, Massachusetts. You got to play a very tough Joey Gallo Merrimack team. It's interesting. On our Mafia podcast this week, we're actually talking about Joe Gallo, the same name as the coach of Merrimack. Now, Joe Gallo was a crazy mobster. Joe Gallo, the coach, little more reserved. Now, I got to tell you, I like Merrimack a little bit in this game. They're getting a lot of points. Let me tell you a little bit about Merrimack, okay? They are very tough defensively. They play this kind of half-quarter court press zone defense. It's tough to prepare for. It's tough to go back-to-back against. You want to have a couple of days against this type of team. Look, Merrimack's not going to be pretty offensively. They aren't. They just don't do much there. They're good enough, though. When they play teams like their conference, they're a bit better and they can hang in games. They want every game to be 62-58, something like that. You look at this game, it's not easy. It's not easy to prepare for. You look at last year, both games are close. 74-67, 64-59. That was in Wagner. I like Merrimack. Couple too many points. 8.5. This is tough. Kind of a back-to-back here. You've got one team in LIU that was super fast, played hard, overtime. Now you got to go play Merrimack. I think this is the best play on the board today. I really do. This is a tough spot for Wagner. Wagner's kind of been rolling, winning by the skin of their teeth. This is a good spot today, Wagner, Merrimack. I like the Warriors here, Merrimack Warriors. We got 8.5 here. I like that. And it's only minus 105. Just a thought. All right. Next one. Michigan and Indiana. We talked about this. Someone asked about it earlier. The individual says, why is Indiana only -4? Well, because Michigan's still really good, man. And they're kind of figuring some things out. So, listen, Indiana played well the other night. But again, like I said earlier, Purdue missed 10 free throws. They didn't shoot the ball well. I'm not going to take anything away. Indiana won and should have won. Rob Finney scored 20 points. I mean, give me a break. They should have won. They did, and they played well, but they won the game. But, I mean, you had a lot of shit go well for them. It was a luck box city. Rob Finney scored 20 points. And this is the thing. No offense, Brian, but this is a wild question. I mean, it's still Michigan. They still have the best recruiting class in the country. They still have one of the best bigs in the country. They're starting to play better. I would be on Michigan here. I think it's the same kind of game. It's going to be tough, but are we going to get the same energy? You're off a huge win. You storm the court. I'll always fade you in the next game. Always. I thought Michigan looked really good against Maryland. Really good. Finally, a real good game for them. Dickinson was terrific. Diabate and Houston played well. Devontae Jones only had 2 turnovers. I thought it was a perfect game for Michigan. I really do. So, yeah, I would play Michigan here. I think Trace Jackson-Davis is hurt. I think it was pretty clear. You got a hip issue. It's not going to get easier today against Dickinson. This is a big one for Michigan. They've got to start just putting some consistent wins together. It's that simple. If you're going to give me a couple of points, I'll lean on Michigan. Fading Indiana off the big win. Sacred Heart, St. Francis of PA. I was pretty disturbed, quite honestly, with Sacred Heart's performance the other night. They were just disgusting. I mean, lost to Mount St. Mary's 98-59. What a pathetic performance by Anthony Lantina's team. Mount St. Mary's just sliced and diced them. But you got to quickly forget it and head on the road and take on a pretty bad St. Francis of PA group. I lean Sacred Heart here. Pretty good generally under Lantina. They just didn't do real well the other night. But it's not like St. Francis of PA is going to give you much. They're one of the worst offenses in this conference. Not a game I'm running to bet on, but I lean Sacred Heart. UTEP and UTSA. UTEP's been up and down. Joe Golding, his first year, obviously Joe Golding was over at Abilene Christian, was able to win an NCAA tournament game, and now he's got a better job. They've got some great athletes on this team. They really do. You've got some really good transfers, Boom and Bieniemy, Keontae Kennedy. But this team's had trouble scoring. They're very norm for Joe Golding. Not great offensively, pretty elite defensively. Going to force turnovers, going to put you in bad situations. Look, this game's going to be ugly. I lean under 135.5. I think that's a bit too high in this game. Neither of these teams play with much pace. UTEP's a bear defensively. I don't know how UTSA scores here. And if I know anything about UTEP, I mean, they're probably going to win and get the job done, but they're very dependent on the three-point shot. This is actually a, pretty bad UTSA three-point defense. But again, they're on the road, UTEP. It's hard to make threes generally on the road. I lean under 135.5. I think this game's like, 68-60, something like that. I think it stays under. 135 seems a bit high. LIU Brooklyn and Fairleigh Dickinson. every year under Greg Herenda, Fairleigh Dickinson is just dreadful defensively, and they just get no stops. LAU, look, I thought they played well the other night against Wagner. They didn't end up winning, but they're a really good offensive team. I mean, they're pushing 80s every game. I feel like, to be quite fair, I feel like you can, with these higher end, up tempo NEC teams, you could probably take every team total over against LAU Brooklyn or against Fairleigh Dickinson and come out on top. They're a really atrocious defense, really atrocious. 341 in 2-point defense, ninth in this conference in 2-point defense. They play fast. There's going to be a lot of high scoring games when they play. Wouldn't have any problem with an over here. I think both teams can score. I want to make sure Devin Dunn's in the lineup for FDU, but as long as he is, I'd lean over. Washington, Oregon. We'll talk about one of the best for last. Look, I like Oregon. I think they're surely improving. They're getting there. They've had some really good wins lately. Obviously, we remember they beat UCLA. They beat USC. They've played a lot better. Okay. Do I want to lay 11.5 with them? I'm not saying they won't cover, but I'm not running to do it. I mean, I think they're a good team, but this is a bit crazy. This is kind of how I felt against UCLA. Like, I thought, why is Oregon getting 11.5? I don't love Washington. I think, Mike Hopkins sucks. But this is a lot of points to lay. Is Oregon just back? I don't know. Seems like a lot. Seems like a few too many. But that being said, Washington sucks. You talked me off Indiana. I agree with a lot with what you said, but Indiana playing at Assembly Hall made me pause. Yeah, but, the energy the other night, I mean, they still – look, all due respect to Indiana, like, if that game happens today, like, go ahead. They're not going to cover 4. Like, I think the game's at worst close. Like, I don't think Indiana blows Michigan out at all. I don't think they win by 10 or 7 or 6 or something. I think the game's close. I think Michigan likely win. You have to rewind. I went over every game, brother. You're welcome to check it out. I didn't have much in that game, though. What's up, Jar Jar? Okay, guys, let me get into and by the way, if on this card, I'm definitely going to play some Merrimack here. I think that's worth a look here. I want to see what's up with the Memphis Tulsa injury report. Obviously, just continuing to bet Arizona makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I need to know what's going on with Memphis's injuries. If DeAndre Williams and Nolly are back, well, then I have interest in Memphis. If they're not, I don't. But yeah, Merrimack looks like a pretty damn good spot today. Just with how they are, and it's tough to prepare. You're coming off an overtime game. Look, Wagner's real good, but that's a tough game. Both were close last season. All right, NFL. I went as far as my picks yesterday. I liked the Niners. I mentioned that all week. They were able to cover. They were actually, able to go in and get the job done. Shout out to the 49ers. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, hell of a coach, great dog coach. Fuck Aaron Rodgers. We can't go into Lambeau. What a win for the boys. I was wrong on the over in the other game. I thought there was opportunities, and they tied it. There was still like 12 minutes left. I thought, okay, well, let's get this at 23 on, go into overtime and over hits. But they didn't finish it out. But yeah, the Niners are tough, man. Shout out to them. If Shanahan hasn't arrived, how hasn't he? This guy's a fucking genius. Can win any game. Goes to Super Bowls with, Lou Gotts. And not even a legit quarterback. That secondary sucks. Mighty Lambeau. Fuck Lambeau. So let's go into today's games. All right. I like the Rams. Just going to say it. Defensively, I know they're without a safety, but the Bucs have a lot of issues injury-wise. I don't like their secondary either. It's not good. I don't think the kids can cover. I think defensively the Rams are significantly better. I think they're the best defensive team in the NFL. And I know Who wants to bet against Tom Brady? Do you really want to bet on Matt Stafford? Well, yeah, I kind of do. Odell Beckham, Cooper Kupp, all sorts of weapons. Rams win today. You got the Super Bowl and you got the NFC title game in LA. Pretty incredible. Look, I know Matt Stafford, he hasn't been the greatest. He was on a bad team for a long time. But you know who had 41 touchdowns this year? Matt Stafford. You know who had 43? Tom Brady. 1-2 in pass touchdowns. So we ask ourselves, how do we bet this game? I got to be honest, I kind of like the over. You got two elite quarterbacks going back and forth with weapons. We saw two unders yesterday. And do I say, well, do I want to bet an over with that defense? Not really. But I'm just going to continue to say it. I like the Rams. I think they win this game. I think they're the best team in the NFL. They're my pick to win the Super Bowl. Who's more likely to get a stop here? And what do we know about the Bucks? You're not going to run against them, but you can move the ball against them. Rams don't give a shit about running the ball. I don't think it's trendy to. You don't want to. Who wants to bet on Matt Stafford over Tom Brady? Nobody. I will. I'll take 3 points with the better team to me. Russ B. I like the +3 in money line. I'm a Bucks fan and live in Tampa, and I'm playing the Rams. So you get it. See, he gets it. And what do we know as well? What have we heard all week? They've got some problems, man. The injury report is glaring. Ryan Jensen, the center, questionable. Murphy Bunning, cornerback, questionable. Perriman out. Pierre-Paul, questionable. Wharf's questionable. I mean, the offensive line has some issues. Ronald Jones is out. I think, as far as I know, they have some other kids banged up as well. A lot of full practices. I don't know if they're completely 100%. There's some issues here on this group. Plus, you've already have other guys out. So I lean on the Rams here. Williams point total is at 11. Who's Williams, Michael? I'm not sure. What do you mean? Who's Williams? Williams point total? Williams. Well, you're not talking about the NFL. You're talking about basketball? I don't know what you're talking about. Let me know. Yeah, exactly. But you know what? The Titans had, 9 sacks yesterday and still lost. So Tom Brady's a fucking luck box. Everything happens for a reason, and he always seems to get the positive to happen. I like the Rams. I think they win today. All right. Bills and Chiefs. Sharp money came in and grabbed 2.5 at the Bills. Look, I also think the Bills win. I'm fading another home team here. Look, I think this is going to be a great game, though, man. 6:30, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. You got stars on both sides. I think you have 2 over games. I really do. It wouldn't surprise me if you have 2 elite games here, honestly. You have 4 really good quarterbacks. You have plenty of offense on all these sides. But you look at this game in particular, you have one defense in the Chiefs that's good and improved. But do we really trust them? I feel like the Bills are always willing to play a shootout. Might be too high, though. That's the issue. 54.5 is high, man. Real high. I don't know. It seemed like 34-31, quite honestly, but that's hard to bet. I mean, you need everything to go right. 30-27, I could see that. Should be a great game. Both should be great games. I can't bring myself to bet against Tom Brady. I hear you. It's going to be these are you talk about today. Okay, whatever. Low scoring. Okay, these two. It's good shit right here. I'm still wondering what this is all about. Who's Williams? The only Williams that I'm thinking about is DeAndre Williams, and I don't think he's playing today. RotoWire, I wouldn't believe what they say. I mean, they normally just, I wouldn't believe that. Find something from, I don't think it'll be out yet. You have to probably wait till shoot-arounds and that kind of stuff. But yeah, for the record, I like the Rams. I like the Bills. Thank you, Rodney. If anyone wants to join me on Patreon, you can. Patreon.com/BMOC. I will be back tomorrow for another week, and we will break down all the college hoops. So make sure you join us. Have a good day. Good luck with their games, folks. What I'll do is I'll just stay on for another minute or two. If anybody's got any other questions, you're welcome to ask, and then we will get on out of here. I went out last night, had a nice time. I don't go out every Saturday, but always good to see some friends and have a good time. Did I get Butler Providence is kicked off 14-all early. Decent start for Butler, not bad. I didn't end up playing that one, but a nice start nonetheless for them. I took the under at 55. Yeah, I mean, you need a lot to go right there. I mean, I hear you. You have two elite quarterbacks, though. Thanks for watching, man. Check out my podcast, The Sit Down, a Mafia History podcast. You can also check me out on YouTube, The Sit Down. Do a lot of content on there as well. Thanks, man. Yeah, good luck. Should be a good one. I think it's a good bet. I'm out, guys. Have a good day. See ya.